All right, I'm back for Dust CS's ongoing coverage of Fragadelphia CS2, and I'm here with ReFuZR from Fisher College. So to start, you were unfortunately eliminated in the quarterfinals, I believe, following that loss to Xiaoma. What's your thoughts coming out of that match?
Um, I'm a little disappointed because obviously I wanted to do way better in the tournament. I also was a little disappointed in my individual performance on the first map. But coming into this event, we didn't have a lot of preparation. We've practiced once with like 2 scrims, and apart from that, we've only played like collegiate games. So our expectations weren't that high, but I'm still a little disappointed.
Yeah, I think you guys did quite well for how little time you've had together. I believe you only arrived in America in like start of January, right?
Yeah, start January.
And with that, so you've been in America now for 3 months. How are you enjoying America?
I've been loving it. I've heard from other players who've moved to America specifically for college that they sometimes felt a bit miserable being on a campus in the middle of nowhere. But Fisher College is in the city of Boston, in the center. So yeah, I've been doing great, and the esports program is really big in our school. I have a lot of friends there, and I'm always busy, so I don't really have time to even miss home. So I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. You said you've only really had a chance to play collegiate thus far. So is it sort of good to finally play like some real competition with your team?
Yeah, it was really fun. Like collegiate is, we just run around and kill people, so it's kind of boring. Um, and now we had to actually try a bit harder and actually focus a lot more on our communication. In collegiate, it's usually just 1 or 2 guys popping off, having a good game, and we get the W easily. But yeah, now it felt like we actually had to play as a team and do our best.
Now, we saw so AlekS, the other international player on your team, he's currently playing ESA Advanced with Pride to get some extra reps in with one of your teammates. Is the plan for you to play an ESA Advanced, or are you going to be solely focused on playing your collegiate matches?
So as of right now, this semester I'll be focusing only on collegiate. We might play ECA next season with our school roster, but we're not too sure yet because next semester we'll be having someone else instead of Tony. So if we play right now, it would be kind of useless. Also, during summer break, me and AlekS will be back home, so we're gonna have to miss that season. So we're probably gonna start the season next semester.
Yeah, and you mentioned you sort of mentioned the fact that you guys are going to have to go home. So I wanted to ask you, what made you come the other way around to America? For those who don't know, when you were in Europe, you were playing for a number of pretty decent, Benelux teams. You were playing for Lowland Lions, KRC Genk, squads like that. So what made you sort of give up competing in the European scene to come to America?
Um, on my second last team with Genk, I was playing in we were playing full time and we were just trying to make it to the pro scene. Eventually, that project fell apart. I wanted to quit CS and get back into school and start studying, but I had some struggles at home which didn't really make it possible. So then I had one more chance with Genk. We had a new lineup with some younger players, um, and they knew coming in that I would be going to the ES because I had that offer at the start of that team. Um, so yeah, it was mostly just because I um, wanted to experience going abroad, and I already knew that I was going to quit CS and focus on school. So when this offer came, it was actually the perfect timing.
One moment, folks. We'll waiting for the celebration to end. I believe on your final team with KRC Genk, you were playing with your younger brother, Yum. Is there a chance we'll see Yum sort of hop over the pond to join you here at in America?
Not anytime soon, but maybe in 1 or 2 years. We've talked about it, but he's not really busy with that right now. He's more focusing on CS, and he's still in high school. He has another year. So yeah, he isn't too sure what he wants to do next, but he's always welcome.
You spoke about so you had that KRC Genk, your final roster that was younger, but before that you had the one that was relatively well known. It was an international squad. I believe it had like Ryu, who's now on Monty Gen, and some other decent tier 2, tier 3 European players. And with that, you actually went to the ESL Pro League conference, where you were unfortunately unable to make your way into Pro League. What were your feelings at the time with that? Did you guys think you had a legitimate shot of making it to Pro League?
Well, coming into that event, we knew we were the underdog. We've always in the team had pretty good results in like practice, even against some top level teams. So we knew there would be a chance. But I think in the end it was just inexperience and maybe nerves that kind of lost us the games there. Yeah.
When we talked to AlekS, one of his big considerations for coming to North America is he felt that it'd be too difficult for him to climb the ranks back in the Swedish scene. Of course, the Swedish scene is sort of very insular. Swedes really mostly only play with Swedish players, so he'd have to go all the way back up through their sort of ladder for a chance at a team like Eyeballers or something. Well, for you, Benelux players have always played more so on international teams. And with that in mind, after college, is the goal for you to head back to Europe and to try to, find your way in the international scene again, or are you just gonna head into your career?
I'm most likely just gonna head back into my career. It kind of depends on what my individual level is at the time I go back and what I'm feeling. I'm not sure yet, but I mostly came here to focus on my degree and not necessarily CS. So CS is more. I still want to, of course, want to do really good in like these LAN events and like collegiate, but it's not necessarily a dream anymore of me to go pro or to make it to the big stage.
So this is your first Fragadelphia event, and I wanted to ask you. You've played in a good number of French and Dutch lands. Louvard game, or I believe like isn't one in the Netherlands like 111 land or 666 land or something. So how does this compare to those lands out there in France and the Benelux countries?
I feel like this LAN was a lot more organized. Well, I played also the ESL Benelux LAN, which was also pretty well organized, but the other LANs you were talking about, like Louvard and 666, those are more like bring your own computer LANs. So people go there, get there on Friday, you play the group stage till like 4 or 3 a.m., then you have to wake up the next morning at 9 a.m. and play the whole playoff stage. So I think it's a lot more better organized here. And it's also cool that it's being organized at like a internet cafe or like a esports arena, which I think is kind of necessary for the scene here because the country is super big, so people fly in from all across the country. But yeah, a lot more better organized. In terms of like people screaming at each other after winning rounds, it's pretty similar actually. I think the vibe is pretty similar. I think the level of the LAN here was a lot higher than the LANs I went to back home because the Benelux region is really small. We don't have a lot of good teams. So yeah.
So you sort of mentioned the fact that this has been a pretty good experience overall. This has been a pretty good experience overall for you.
Nice! Let's fucking go!
There's the My Life Be Like. There's the My Life Be Like players again. I don't know if you're able to hear that on the on our microphones, but to close out, so this has been overall a pretty positive experience for you. Do you think we can expect to see Fisher College at more Fraglands throughout the year?
We definitely want to go to as many non-collegiate lands as possible. We are a team that wants to do more than just collegiate, but most of it is probably going to start next semester when we have our full lineup. Because right now we're playing with Tony, who he isn't supposed to be a player, but we don't have a fifth right now, so he's playing with us. He's probably going to coach next semester when we get our new player.
All right, so that's ReFuZR from Fisher College, a Dutch import player who's been making a splash here in the North American scene. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure we'll see you back in action soon.